Hello, I'm Chris Solo, and welcome to the Fabled 42, where we build community through friendship, gaming, and chaos. You're watching Quests and Answers, and you can catch us every Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific here at twitch.tv/Fabled42. But before we get into today's panel, we're going to go through some announcements and then some panelist introductions. But let's get to that. So, anything that you see that is 3D printed in any of our streams is brought to you by Griffin Co. Everything you see are player indicators, digital dice, zoom features on the battle map, video and chat. All that stuff is through Vorpaboard. I did that backwards. Ignore me. And you can get all your tabletop needs at Tabletop Game and Hobby. So we have a lot of things to talk about today. Try to cram this all into one nice hour panel. We're going to try to do these panels all the time. If you have any questions, by all means, please post them in the chat. Tag Fable42 and I will see it, and I will try to bring those into the fold. And we have the Ask the DM. Let me throw my Discord. Where's that? Throw my Discord in there. There's an Ask the DM tab in our Discord where you can ask DMs questions all the time. And we're going to try to bring in DMs and players and people who play in these certain classes or have a lot of experience in those things. Also, I never make a damn thing. Patreon. So go ahead and check out our Patreon. So we are starting to push a little harder on Patreon subscriptions and, Twitch subscriptions and bits and so on, because we are trying to get the community. You all have done so much for us so far, but we are expanding so fast, and we absolutely need your help to continue to expand through the normal growing pains of a network, and this is officially a network now. We're trying to offer more podcast channels, and we're trying to offer them specifically for each of your favorite shows. So, Diane's show, who she's going to talk about here in a second, so I don't butcher the name again, I apologize, will have her own podcast channel. Cantor will have its own podcast channel, and so on. So you don't have to sift through all the different streams and channels and campaigns that we have. But all this costs money. All the upkeep and everything else that we have also costs money. So what we're trying to do is trying to offer more incentives and perks and things that we can give to you from our sponsors or from ourselves to say thank you for all of your subscriptions and all of your support. So most of this is all through Patreon. So we have the same 3 subscription tiers, $5, $10, and $20. Each one gives you different D6 inspiration or luck points that you can give to your players. And we are still refining those rules. Actually, the 3 of us are slowly refining those rules for the D&D specific shows. But we'll continue to do that over time. Every month, we're going to start having giveaways for Patreon-only subscribers. We have a Discord channel just for Patreon subscribers where we can sit and chat. So it's kind of like a VIP service. Also, October 15th through 18th, we have UkadorCon 2020. We have a series of community games that we're currently building, DM'd by some of the DMs in our community for you specifically. The only way to get those tickets is to be a subscriber on Patreon. The higher the tier of subscriptions that you have, the first come, first serve options you get. So obviously, if you have the $20 subscription tier, you will get first dibs at whichever game you want to play, and so on. That's all I really have to say about that. We are gearing up for a lot of really cool content that's coming out this month, and today is round 2 of Mythical Melee. But before we get into tonight's topic of the Barbarian class, we're going to go through our panelist introductions. Diane.
Hi, my name's Diane Hall. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at @theprettyDM. And you can see me here starting October 19th, DMing my very own Homebrewed World show, The Legends of Shah Ogal. Wanted to really pronounce that for Chris.
Sorry.
Shah Ogal. Super excited about it, but I'm also running a few Fabled Femmes one-shots during Ukador Con, and you can see me as the lovable Fearbolg on Wednesdays.
Logan.
I'm Logan Hamley. You guys can find me on Instagram at DM_screening, somewhere down here. Other than that, you guys can find me here playing Haida, the Bjorning Wanderer on Adventures in Middle-earth, or DMing Cantor Chronicles on the 2nd and 4th Fridays of every month. I'm also starting a new project called Trials of the Damned with the Initiative Order, where I will be Fate Mastering, is what we're calling it. Fate Mastering Merkborg sessions that are kind of West Martian style, and will be a lot of fun. So check that out.
And Tristan.
Hey guys, I'm Tristan St. Clair. You can find me at +1crafting on Instagram and Twitter, although I couldn't tell you when the last time I tweeted was. I make things for tabletop games. I've been lucky enough to make some stuff for different Fable 42 games, and it's fun. I'm also Torin the Dwarf Slayer on our Adventures in Middle-earth game. I think I may be the only person who's actually playing a Barbarian, besides Chris. I think you're playing a Barb. So,
I can't wait to share your artwork, dude. I am so stoked. And
I'm blown away.
We're going to talk about it later.
Blown
But
away.
so those of you who don't know, Lorenzo, who I think I have an art command here. Let me throw it in there. Lorenzo is doing all of our character art for all of a lot of our shows, and we'll eventually get to like past shows, and just so we have the same art style for all of our characters for past or present shows. And Tristan's artwork is so amazing for Turin. I was like, wow, Tristan, you actually look badass. And like, I didn't mean it to be.
You did a little bit.
Not intentionally. I have one arm, all right? I have one arm. I can't even. I'm supposed to shoot a bow. I can't even shoot a bow. Anyway.
You somehow hit more things than Turin does, though. So
yeah,
that's
fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
But no, the artwork's amazing. I can't wait to share it. But
oh my gosh.
So, like we said, we are gearing up. We have about 52 minutes of topic conversation before we start the timer for round 2 of Mythical Melee. DM refereed by our very own Renee. He's in chat right now. So today we're going to talk about the Barbarian class. I'm very new in the Barbarian class. I've DM'd one. I've DM'd a few, actually, for long periods of time. But I know some of you have played them, swear by them, half-orc Barbarians for the win. I will figure that out on Friday when I'm actually playing a high-level one. We'll see how that goes. But so let's talk about the Barbarian class. Like, what's the best build? Is it Berserker? Is it Totem Bear? Like, what's the best build for Barbarian? And I will be taking questions too. So if anybody in the chat has a question, just tag me, Fable42, in the chat, and I will pass it on.
I mean, if we're talking strictly using the player handbook, it's Totem Barbarian, half-orc Totem Barbarian, hands down. I mean, you get all of the badassness of a half-orc, you get the savage attacks, you get the relentless endurance, you get resistance to everything except for psychic damage. There's no better tank. Like, and the not to say that Berserker isn't bad. Berserker has obviously better damage output than the Totem Barbarian does. But if we're talking about all around which one's the best out of those two, it's 100% Totem Warrior. Just the amount of damage you can soak up is insane.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that people oftentimes kind of peg barbarians as like they're only one thing, right? A barbarian build is just a straight tank. They're just going to take a bunch of damage, deal a bunch of damage. And while that's true, I think that there are enough. I mean, if you're sticking strictly to the player's handbook, maybe not so much. But with all of the other supplements and everything that you've got, all the other subclasses, I think there's a barbarian for any playstyle.
Yeah.
Right. And especially if, and then you get into, are you going to build a pure barbarian? Are you going to take a dip in something? What's the what's the end goal. So I think it's just like any other class, and so the perfect build is the one that fits the playstyle that you want to play in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I totally agree with that. So the first Barbarian that I'm playing in an actual persistent campaign is for Cantor, which is Viago. And Logan and I talked a lot about it. Viago has an interesting play style. Logan graciously allowed me to make brass knuckles out of warhammers, which is only a temporary thing. I'm sure I'll be wielding big axes later. But trying to break the stereotypes of barbarians. So Viago is a gentle-hearted, kind. I had him as chaotic neutral. Everyone's telling me he's not. It's fine.
Oh, he's 100% not. He's not chaotic.
I wouldn't say.
No,
Viago's
he's definitely chaotic good.
neutral.
I think is the.
I doubt you're even chaotic at this
I
point.
don't know if you're chaotic. I haven't seen
neutral.
any chaos.
You're probably neutral good at the
Yeah.
I would
neutral
see that.
good.
I would see that.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's situational for me, so I'm going to act how I feel like he would act in those moments. I mean, one of his friends goes down, he might freak out. But, so that being said, stereotypes. So, like, I'm trying to play... He also... graciously, we rolled live, and he rolled stupid. So I have, like, a 14 wisdom, which is amazing. So playing him differently, but he's still trying to fit that stereotype so people underestimate him. But let's talk about the stereotypes, like the Grogs of the world. What are some other types of barbarians could there be, like that you've seen or that you've played or that you've DM'd?
So I played Oh, go ahead, Diane.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say my last campaign, my husband played a barbarian for a year and a half, maybe more, and he was this very boisterous dwarf who had a huge family, 23 kids, and I had him make all the names up. I was just like, "What are your kids' names?" And he left town. He left home to create fame and fortune for his family. He just wanted to make some money and a name. And his best friend was a little gnome bard, which was an NPC they wouldn't let me get rid of. I loved it because I was like, my only barbarian was the stereotypical grog type barbarian that I knew about. And I was just like, oh, like barbarians are kind of boring. But they don't have to be boring. They can be really cool with vibrant backgrounds. They don't have to be dumb. They can be smart. Yeah. It's a lovable family man barbarian is what I came to know and love.
The one barbarian that one of my players played recently was a shifter barbarian that took the inheritor background. And it was really cool because they had this item that they got when their family was massacred, and they had to go and were essentially searching out a way to figure out what this item was, what it meant to them, what it meant to their family. And he was a lot more intelligent. Like he had proficiency in Arcana. I don't know what barbarian has proficiency in Arcana. So it was really interesting to watch him go, hey, listen, like whenever we're in towns, I want to figure out what this is. I want to go to libraries and look at books and all that stuff. And it was a lot of fun DMing it because you got to see this other side of where he still had his typical barbarian stereotypes, but he also had this side to him that was very calculating and intelligent and almost predatorial in the sense of like an animal, not all that other junk.
Yeah, and I think that again, it comes down to how you play the character. I think that, mechanically, the barbarian is going to operate how the barbarian operates, and that's just the way that the game works. But, like Diane said, background makes a huge impact, and like Chris was saying, the way that you're playing the character makes a huge impact. And the Grog Strongjaws of the world are, fun to watch, but they're not necessarily, in my opinion, fun to play.
Yeah.
I mean, I would disagree with that, but that's how I like it. But again, it's I think it goes back to everybody has a different way they like to play, right? If
Yeah.
I'm playing a martial class, it doesn't matter if I'm really playing a fighter or a barbarian or a war cleric or a paladin. I just want to smash stuff. I do. That's my nature. Like if I'm playing a martial character, I want to be in the thick of it, slaughtering people, protecting my friends, and
Except for
on the
last
front
Monday.
lines. Except for last Monday, when I hid in the shadows. But that was different. That was different because I had to kill all of the people that I was in the room with.
No, it was
So,
unbelievably smart. I was so happy with what you were doing.
Yeah, it
I
great.
was very confused what was happening on Monday.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. But no, I that's what I was. I think it really depends on how you define fun and what you define fun for that character. Because I mean, if you look at Grog is an extremely, while he is this big dumb meathead of a Goliath barbarian, he also has that soft side when you're talking when you're talking about anybody else in Vox Machina, especially Mike.
Yeah.
And which is atypical if you look at the Herd of Storms, which he came from, which is very, any outsider we're going to automatically kill or destroy or whatever. So his character arc was super interesting to me, just because he is that very rage type of person.
Yeah. We have a couple cool questions. I can't answer the first one, so hopefully one of you can. How do you DM for Zealot Barbarian with the Rage Beyond Death feature?
Oh.
Like how do you kill?
I'm gonna read it just to see what I
So,
Yeah, I'm gonna
okay.
pull it up too. I should have pulled
While
it
you're,
up first.
you want me to, I have it up already.
Yeah, go for it.
While
So-
you're raging, having 0 hit points doesn't knock you unconscious. You still must make death saving throws, and you suffer the normal effects of taking damage without 0 hit points. However, if you would die due to failing death saving throws, you don't die until your rage ends, and you die then only if you still have 0 hit points.
Huh.
Okay, so
But
it's
your rage doesn't end though. At level 20.
I don't know.
Well, I guess at level 20.
It's,
This is
14th level.
Yeah.
the way I see this is you can still take your attacks while you're doing your death saves, and then if you take more damage,
Oh.
once combat ends, you then die, I guess.
So barbarians don't get persistent rage till level 15.
15. Okay.
So the way that, as long as this specific player isn't level 15, then
It's a minute.
after a minute he's dead. After a minute, if he's failed all of his death saving throws and has 0 hit points, he's dead. That's at least how reading
Right,
that, how
yeah.
I
So
see that.
if you've rolled, if you failed your death saves, you're dead.
However, if he is level 15 or higher, good luck.
Just
Banishment,
banishment.
right? And you take him off the
Yeah.
plane.
Yeah.
Or really anything that would prevent him from making attacks or taking damage. You just put him in a corner. He's
So
in
like
timeout.
your adrenaline is just so jacked, you're just like and then
Yeah. Hold person.
Well, if it's persistent
any
rage
charm.
now, do you as players every few minutes just smack him, and he'll just stay
just-
persistent rage for days? I'm
He
kidding.
just needs to be angry.
Yeah.
Well, and oh god, I had a thought. What was it? See, this is why I play barbarians.
Break the mold.
Right. No, I lost it. It's gone.
It's gone.
What about some of the other? I know there's another question for Eddie too. I'm trying to pull it back up. But what are some other of your favorites as far as subclasses? Currently, I'm playing Juggernaut, that was Matt Mercer's one, right, Logan?
That was the one from the Taldori campaign.
Oh, I don't know about that one. I don't have that.
It's interesting.
It's very interesting. I'll let you know later if I should have chose something different. There's some things that I think work character-wise, which is why I wanted to go with it, and Logan let me do that. But I mean, there's.
I was thinking about that earlier.
What you want to?
About whether or not you should have chosen a different subclass.
Oh.
That was a thought I had earlier.
Will you let me switch?
No.
I mean, I do like the feature. I'll have to pull it up. I do like the feature that I can't be knocked prone when I'm raging.
That's nice.
It's got a
nice.
lot of cool things.
Yeah.
It's very siege breakery.
Is it broken?
It's very Viago, I think, is what it kind of.
Given that Mercer made it, I'd probably say no. Considering blood cleric.
I don't know. Like some things that he's made have been broken.
But no, this is a little bit more tame than Blood Hunter.
Okay.
Yeah. I was a blood hunter before Taliesin killed himself. Yeah.
I think he was playing it safe in both of the
Blood
when
Hunter?
he wrote this.
Yeah. I don't really know what other subclasses I necessarily like. I don't really know about a lot of them, but
Ooh, what's that dwarf one? What's the dwarf one?
Oh, it's a Battle Ranger.
Yep.
Is it Battle Ranger?
Oh, yeah, it is. It is.
I've always wanted to play that, but then I also realized that I never want to play a dwarf barbarian.
Me either.
Yeah, why would you? Dwarves are stupid.
Except for
What?
in Middle Earth. In Middle Earth, they're good. In Middle Earth, they're good.
In my game, my dwarf barbarian, I might be biased because it was my husband's character, but he was a really cool character. He had 23 kids. Come on. I had to roleplay all of those kids too. That was a
You
nightmare.
know, I wonder how many kids Keith's Goblin Barbarian has. On that note, not that note, totally different. This was Eddie's question, and also this was another question in chat too. What are some good Barbarian multi-classes?
Ooh.
So, since I don't get to play in the battle royale, I'll kind of tell you what my plan was.
Tell us, yes. Tell me what would have killed me.
So I built a 17th level totem barbarian, and with totem barbarian, so you get to pick a totem 3 times, right? Bear is obviously like that's the easiest choice you'll ever make.
Yeah.
You know, you're resistant to everything except psychic.
Yeah.
Second choice is a little bit harder. I think I went with eagle or something, keen sight. Just to barbarians, wisdom is usually a dump stat, so anything that helps you with perception is great. And then on the third one, if you don't take elk, you're dumb.
But elk is UA though, isn't it?
No, maybe, I don't know.
Elk is what?
Or is it Sword Coast?
Elk is allowed for this.
Yeah, elk. I checked with Renee.
I think elk is.
I think elk is just. I think they're all.
I think it's normal. I think it's standard.
I could be wrong. Listen, I've been wrong like 4 or 5
elk,
times already today, so you know.
But then what? Your other 3, right?
Yeah. So you have 3 options. So I built bear, eagle, elk, and then I took 3 levels of rogue. And
I love that.
Ooh, rogue.
I love that.
So I have a question because you went rogue. How would you go about the fact that in order for you to get sneak attack, you need to be using dexterity-based weapons, but in order to get your rage bonus, you need to use some strength-based?
Swashbuckler. So I took swashbuckler, right? Hold on, I'm gonna.
Oh shit! Okay, yeah. I see you.
So I took swashbuckler, and I got a warhorse. So I got a warhorse with full plate armor.
What?
Talk to Renee.
You have a horse?
You can.
What are you gonna spend 3,000 gold of
I didn't spend any of it.
Tristan and I were talking about this for a minute, actually.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I didn't spend any money on any stuff for that.
I'm dying over here.
So
no, my character wouldn't be good with a horse, anyways. But that's besides the point.
Well, so the thing about elk totem at your third choice is you can use your bonus action to move through another character's space knock them prone, and deal 1d12 bludgeoning damage. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a DC 23 or 24 strength save. Right? And at 20th level, that's not impossible, but it's unlikely.
Yeah.
So
why would you choose elk and not tiger? Because tiger, if you charge somebody, you can use your bonus action to make an attack.
Because then they're prone.
Because then they're prone.
That's right.
You'd rather have them prone than have an extra attack.
So then, just like I had so many plans. I had flying boots. I was gonna like drag people up into the air. It was a whole thing. But I really think
to fight you, man. Oh, I'm so angry.
It was gonna be so good. It was gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, I definitely would have died. I definitely would have died.
Team deathmatch. No, but I think Barbarian, any class that is not reliant on magic, because obviously magic is a no-go. I think any class that adds movement or adds utility, because like we said earlier, barbarians are great at taking a bunch of damage and dealing a bunch out, but out of combat, you're not doing a whole lot for your team. So anything that adds utility or movement or any kind of maneuvers that you can do, I think is valuable.
So is that worth it? Because I actually did something very similar. I took 17 and 3 and something else. But is it worth losing the 45 HP and the other thing you get level 20 when your strength... Well, it doesn't matter because I think we all took the same strength item. But for your con, your strength and con jump to 24 or go up 4 to the max of 24. Mm-hmm. So then it gives you an extra couple con, which is also more HP. Is that worth it? Is it worth it to take, some different styles and flavor and utility to lose a good chunk of HP, especially totem?
I think it's very
situational.
I think it's very, very dependent on the campaign.
Yeah.
Right? Because I like the Barbarian Tristan's talking about. Nobody outside of Tristan or somebody making this for a battle royale would probably think of playing that in a consistent campaign.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't make sense. But in a battle royale standpoint, that's a fucking genius move.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I think that if you're I don't know. I've never been to Tormund was my first level 20 character, and I didn't do the whole 1 to 20. So for me, if I played a barbarian, it would be 1 to 20.
Yeah.
Just because it makes you, or it allows you to use weapons and have armor and have different items that aren't going to boost your strength, right? The chance of you finding a belt of storm giant strength or anything like that's going to boost it over 24 is slim to none in most campaigns.
And isn't it like 100,000
unless you're doing
gold pieces or something stupid?
Or you need to be a legit cajillionaire in order to buy one.
Oh.
But again, I mean, it's also, going a couple levels of fighter to get the action surges, or, going druid to get your wild shape, and then being bear totem, so that way you're just a freaking tank with 1 million HP is cool. But I think, I don't know. For me, I think that the whole having the extra health and the extra strength is just too much to give up.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing though. Like, how many barbarians are going to make it to level 20?
This is also
like how many of us who enjoy the class and who want to play that style of just smash everything barbarian. Like, how many of us are going to make to 20? You're gonna have a level 20 campaign, and you'll have had like 2 level 10 barbarians, and you'll end the campaign with a level 2 barbarian. You're not gonna make it all the way to 20.
Well, I mean, then you need to talk about your team for not keeping you alive. So that's
that's the other thing.
But no,
where's
I
your
get
healer?
it. I get it.
Yeah.
I had a really good question and I lost it. Something what Logan was saying. It doesn't matter. What are some challenges one should keep in mind when playing a barbarian class, and how do you overcome those in game?
Rage, strength. know the answers to both of those.
Just when in doubt, rage.
Yeah.
When in doubt, punch a wall until it breaks.
So, there are a lot of barbarians that play the whole campaign. And again, this is why when Renee brought this up, I was like, fuck yes. Because I want to play level 20 character because I have no idea what I'm doing at level 20 either. So it's a good play test, and I want to keep doing stuff like this so we all can just see what it's like to play level 20, whether it's a one-shot. Like, I actually want to do some level 20 one-shots at some point. Not right now because my brain can't handle it. But... later on down the line, because now all of our new campaigns we're all babies now, right? We're all super low level. Let me get season 1 out of my brain first before I try to be Riha again. But so in some of the other styles, right? Because I don't know a whole lot about barbarians. I'm kind of learning as I go. Is some barbarians don't wear armor at all, and just do what Dex and Con, and then some wear armor, or you can wear armor, but you can't wear heavy. Like, what are those rulings? Like, how does that work? Are you allowed to wear plate armor as a barbarian, or can you not? Range?
This is a refresher. I think you can. No, you can't range.
I have never encountered a barbarian that's worn plate armor.
No, I think it's medium or
it's
below.
Medium or lower. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's it at? While raging, you gain the following benefits if you aren't wearing heavy armor. So you can still rage while you're wearing heavy armor. You just don't get reduced damage, or you don't get resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing. Basically, any benefit you'd get from rage, you don't get while you're wearing heavy armor.
Got it. And I think it's just Battle Rager is the only one, right, that can do that.
A Battle Rager, or the reason why I'm happy Tristan's here, is because his dwarf, his Slayer, has the ability to wear heavy armor.
Yeah, so Slayer is, for those of you who don't know, in Adventures of Middle-earth, Slayer is almost a copy-paste of Barbarian from 5e.
Yeah.
The big difference is the two subclass options that you have. Both of them are just stupid and broken, but I'll actually...
I want to play the other one one day. I really want to play that other one.
Let me pull up this character sheet so I can just kind of read some of this stuff. But it's ridiculous. It's broken, completely broken. Like, we are at, I think, 5th level or 6th level, 5th level. So he's a 5th level barbarian, essentially. Like I said, it's almost a copy and paste, and he's got a armor class of 21, right? Because the subclass from Adventures of Middle-earth doesn't have the restriction of, if you're wearing heavy armor, you don't get the benefits. It's Hooped and Hasped, I think, is the subclass. Maybe if I try to pull up the PDF, my computer will crash. But
it's like,
yeah,
it's like Hammer Hand or something like that. I know it's based on
Hand,
Helm. I know it's based on Helm Hammerhand, but I don't remember what it's called.
But yeah, it's just ridiculous. Just completely ridiculous. And there are ways that you can, get a super high AC as a barbarian in 5th edition, but part of the reason that you play a barbarian is because you don't need a high armor class, because you can just soak damage for days.
Because it is 10 plus con and dex, right? I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, once you level your con and dex up a bit, like, you can get pretty hefty.
Yeah. Or, bracers of defense, or, there's all kinds of relatively low level magic items that you can get that are going to boost either one of your stats or your AC to the point where, you're not going to have to worry about soaking quite as much, but...
Yeah. Well, on that note, though, if you're looking at items, right, your items are either going to boost you to 20, or you're going to be close enough to 20 in your con and your strength by the time you hit maybe level 8. But after that, feat-wise, what do you look at? Like, what are some... I know Great Weapon Master is a staple, but, like, if you're looking for a creative... If you're looking for a creative barbarian, what are some of the other feats you can use?
I mean, if you're talking campaign, or are you talking, like, battle royale?
I'm talking... I mean, I would say campaign. I mean, just because most people who we're talking about aren't going to get the opportunity to play
Yeah.
in a
I mean,
battle
tough,
royale.
I mean-
tough is always a good one.
Tough is good, but is that worth it? Right? It's what 40 extra HP at level 20. Right?
Is it worth it?
It's
I
like
don't
it's
know.
like 2 per level, right? I think.
I mean, if
Yeah.
you're playing a Bear Barbarian, or if you're playing a Totem Barbarian, that's 80 hit points at level 20,
True.
Yeah.
which is yeah. I mean, because I see everything. If you're playing a Bear Barbarian, everything is
Yeah.
double hit points.
That's true.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah,
you're
I mean,
TM'd,
yeah,
then
Great Weapon Master
Rose
for
Fine
sure.
Flare
I
again.
mean, I would say you have to take Great Weapon Master, right? Like that's your weapon of choice. I don't know. I mean, you and I were talking about a lot of different things for Viago too, and we ended up.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of the mind I'm in too. Is like, is Viago really going to go Great Weapon Master? Is that like?
I don't know. I'm testing it out on Friday. But you know, I couldn't do Juggernaut because that's UA stuff. So I'm Bear Totem actually. Now that I think about it, but I don't know because I mean, like Mage Slayer is a good one. Sentinel is nasty. So I played Jason's in chat too. I played a 4-level Bear Totem Barbarian and a 4-level Moon Druid. In Jason's Fables of Ugador, that was pretty amazing. He also let me single hold a Great Axe, so then I had a shield. So I was like a big ass Viking that could shape change into a CR1 Dire Bear, which was ridiculous. But Sentinel came in clutch, especially for the boss fight. He might be angry at me in a second. But Sentinel came in clutch because his dragon kept trying to leave my space, and I was like, nope. And he's like, fuck. Like that hit to 0 was pretty ridiculous. But no regrets. I love you, Jason. But no, I mean, like the storytelling, everything was great. But that was kind of my first story-wise Barbarian that I got to play, and it was interesting. But I'm also on the fence with all these different feats. Like I'm not normally a feat guy. I feel like ability scores, especially for campaigns, will help you all the time, opposed to just
That's
situational.
how I feel sometimes.
But again, in those moments, Mage Slayer is
disagree.
clutch. Like,
Yeah, I was about to say I disagree.
I disagree. Yeah, I think I've been talking a lot, Logan.
No, I've been shit. I don't know why I'm looking over here. You're not over here. I've been talking a lot. You go ahead and go first.
I think especially with barbarians, like what we talked about earlier with multi-classing, anything that's going to give you more utility outside of just take damage, smash, is huge for barbarians. Obviously, Great Weapon Master is huge. Sentinel is huge.
Durable would be good.
Durable is good. I would argue that Tavern Brawler is a
do you
good
get
feat to
5?
take.
You get 5 or 6 ability score bumps, or feats.
6.
4, 8, 12, 16, 19. That sound right? Somebody. I don't know why I'm asking. I have my player handbook right next to me.
No, the Motley Crew game that I got to play in,
Yeah.
that's the highest level character I'd ever had at that point. Like that 14th level
Yeah.
Bugbear was the highest character I'd ever had. So as far as I know, you only get 3. But
Jason says 6. So what if you have so if you do standard array, and depending on your
5.
race, oh no, Jason says 5, so you are right, 5. So depending on your race, with 3 ability score bumps, you could bump your strength should be 20 or higher, and your con should be 20 or higher. And if you go full barbarian, then that means it's 24 strength, 24 con, and you still have 2 or possibly 3 feats that you would pick. So you do the ability score and then the feat, right? Depending on how you play it. Half orc barbarian is always the best because it's 2 strength, right?
Well, it also depends because if you're looking at it, I build if you're using this also plays into account if you're rolling and you get really lucky, or if you are using standard array or point buy. But like if you're using standard array, it'll take you 4 out of those 5 if you want to max out all of them to 20. Because if you're using standard array and you go half orc, you'll have a 16 starting in your con and a 16 starting in your strength.
Yeah.
And so you'll have to dump 4 out of those 5 anyway.
I
But
was
at the end of the
thinking
day,
point, yeah.
but the other thing too is you also have to remember, well, where do you draw the line? Because at level 20, if you know you're playing to level 20, at level 20 it becomes 24 anyway. So you don't need
Well, it
necessarily.
doesn't become 24. It just adds 4 and to the max of 24.
Oh, it adds. Yep, you're right. It
So,
adds
but
more to it.
I mean, a 22
You're
con
right.
is still stupid. So like,
Yeah.
that's still great. So like that's not something to eat someone's lunch about. But again, so going back to the defeats, so like, depending how you're playing, yeah, I mean, tough is a good one because it's just extra hit points. Great weapon master, sentinel, mage slayer. What was the other one you said? Durable.
Durable.
Durable's good.
Yeah.
If you're in a very pole arm heavy setting, the combo of pole arm master with sentinel is really good.
What
But
about
again,
shield
it's very
barbarians? Like, so what about holding a shield as a barbarian and just single handing, a 1d10 longsword or something? Worth it? Not worth it?
You're giving up too much damage. I
Yeah.
think you're giving up too much damage.
At the end of the day, your hit point pool outweighs the extra 2 AC you're going to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's at least my sense of it.
Just have a friend.
When
give
you're
you
going
haste and
just
you're fine.
mechanics wise, yeah.
I was so mad when we found out the haste rules that we were doing it all wrong.
Oh, I can't wait for the new haste rules. Now that I remember.
How are
what
you
they
doing
actually-
haste?
So
Well, haste
yeah.
is only one extra. So when
One
you make
attack.
the attack action, you
Yeah.
only get a attack after haste.
Yeah.
I've been doing it where you get 3 attack actions.
What?
So like
Yeah.
well no, like if you take the hasted action as the attack action, however many attacks you get with the attack action,
Yeah.
you could do more. So like level 20, fighter would get stupid amount of attacks because he's hasted, but it literally
that's
says
why
it
I
in the
took potion.
spell, and we misread
That's
it.
why I took potion of speed on my fighter. I wanted 12 attacks.
Like, you needed more damage.
I
mean, you probably would've killed everybody.
If I would have had 12, that would have been. If I would have action surged, I would have had 12 attacks, 13 attacks total, all with triple advantage. Thad would have blessed me with so many natural 20s. It would have been.
was ridiculous.
There would be none left for the rest of y'all.
Oh my
I'm still
God,
waiting
it was
for where I need to send my bribes for Thad. Thad, if you're watching
That
this.
doesn't even do anything with dice. That's the
You
best
are.
part about all of this. It's nothing to do with dice. So we have about, I don't know, like 15 minutes or so left. Do any of you have any other questions for each other? Does anybody in the chat, have any other questions? Oh, Jason did do one. What's a barbarian subclass you'd like to see in the future?
Just because I like to see it reworked from the Unearthed Arcana, I really, really want the Path of the Beast pack, and I want to see how they would change it after all of the playtesting.
Is that still UA?
It's gone now.
Oh, it's
It's
gone.
gone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in
think it's
D&D
gone.
Beyond still.
Oh, is it still in
That's
D&D
what I
Beyond?
thought it
Okay.
was.
Yeah, there's Path of the Beast,
They
and
haven't
there's
gotten
another
rid of
one
it
that
yet,
I've never tried, which was Path of the Wild Soul.
Wild Soul was interesting.
Because you get a
That's
little
actually-
magic, right? Somehow.
Yeah, that's actually the subclass that I had picked for Ven in the Origins.
Yeah, that
Um,
looks really interesting.
You both were barbarians in that game, right?
Correct.
We have to bring you back. We
Who's
need
my
to do a
little buddy?
side. We need to do a side mission with you too.
Fucking Han and Chewie. Hell yeah.
Well, because
Master Blaster to the max.
it was you two, and then there was
It was us two and the
Nordic and
little gnome.
Andy. Yeah, it was the
Yeah.
gnome fighter, and then he was an Orog. Nordic was an Orog.
Vagari.
All I remember is turning around. 1 second I was running toward the gate. The next minute I turn around. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? As Bree and fucking Josh are slaughtering everybody.
Yeah,
It was so fun.
that
Can't
was
wait to
nuts.
go back to that. Like,
Such a
we
good-
still want to do a lot of side seasons for that campaign. You know what though? Everyone is mentioning that it might be in Tasha's Cauldron. That's the next source book that's coming out,
Ooh.
which I'm very
Yeah, I'm
excited
interested
about.
to see what's.
I'm excited for that book.
I'd really like to see. I don't know if anyone's keeping track, but so far all of the characters that I've played on the network have been either barbarians or clerics. I'd really like to see some kind of a like faith based barbarian, like some kind
I
of
second
divine
that. Yeah.
I
barbarian.
think that's what they were trying to go for with the zealot, and it just didn't. It didn't sink the way it should have.
No, it just feels culty and like weird. Like Zealot
What's the difference?
has no appeal.
Um,
Marketing. Good marketing.
you know what's funny? Because someone in chat, Valrook, was talking about playing a storm barbarian and a storm sorcerer. She was essentially Thor. Is how she was playing it.
That'd be cool.
That's awesome.
But how does that work? If you can't cast spells while raging, you just don't rage?
I guess.
Or is that just like
have
a flavor
to
thing
rage.
the DM would allow? Maybe.
Maybe the DM would allow if they're nice.
You
Yeah,
get,
that
some, you
would
get
be-
some item that would let you cast spells and raging, and then you would just be a solo party, because
Yeah.
why would you need anybody else?
Yeah, that's a really interesting. That's a really interesting combo.
Yeah.
Even
Can
Just something
Paladin and
let you
Barbarian...
concentrate.
I'd say yeah, but again, the big thing about
Yeah.
Paladin is the heavy armor.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be able to wear heavy armor.
But you can
Your
wear some-
charisma would have to be high enough.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you
that's how
could
it
really-
is, yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
again, what do you do with rage?
And
You
smite.
smite.
So, yeah, smite's a
Yeah.
racial
You're
ability,
just
right?
you're just a
It's not
smite.
spell.
You're just a smite machine
Yeah.
because it's not necessarily a spell.
Yeah, that is true.
Right.
Yeah, how would you guys rule about lay on hands though? Like that.
It's a racial
It's a
Lay
ability.
on
rage.
hands.
It's not a spell.
It's a yeah. It's not.
It's an ability.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because you can't
It's-
counterspell it. So, like, if it's something that you can't counterspell, then it's fair game, I would assume.
So I guess you can do it, but I also don't know if you would think about doing lay on hands when you're raging.
Hmm.
I would probably the first round that I took like a ton of damage just to get myself like I would wait until I'm at that threshold where I could just use all of my lay on hands at one time.
Yeah.
Because that's really all it is. It's a deterrent for losing, I don't know,
Yeah,
maybe 20 hit points.
yeah,
And I mean, yeah, you lose a turn, but you either do it right at the end or right at the beginning and bump yourself
Right.
up, and you get it over with, or you don't use it.
Or you go out of your rage by healing yourself with your action, then bonus action rage again, and then in your
Oh yeah, shit.
I mean, when you're higher level, when you're young, when you're low, you're like, I'm keeping this rage. I don't
When
wanna
you're
lose
young.
one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna knock unconscious.
Two for the
Bad things
day.
gonna happen.
yeah.
Like I'm glad I don't have to. I'm not sandbagging my rage anymore on Cantor. Like that was very stressful. Like Logan's like knocking me unconscious. I'm like, I wish I could rage.
Dude, I was waiting for you to die, man. I was so waiting for you to just flop.
Oh, this last episode.
Not this last. No, this
Oh.
last episode. This last episode, I honestly didn't think you would rage. I didn't build the encounter for you to rage. I
Yeah.
should have though. I should have thought ahead.
I was worried though because of the amount of creatures out there. Not sure what was going on. The big guy. Yeah, you know, yeah.
I will say the big guy hit you hard. You would have went down if you wouldn't.
I would have gone down. Yeah, absolutely. Because I was almost dead at the end of that anyway. But yeah, okay.
You want to talk about like sandbagging rage? Like play a Slayer. Like 3 for like a 6-week period.
Oh yeah, that's
Ridiculous.
rough. I don't know how you do that, man.
I don't either.
Because
Already passed it one time.
that journey phase is rough.
Yeah.
But the offset is for you at least is that you have 21 AC, so you don't necessarily always need that half damage.
Well, and like I was saying earlier about how broken it is, I think that's the only thing that kind of balances it out. and even
Well,
that.
Aim is a completely different monster because I could die tomorrow.
Like not even during a session. Like our characters, like we would. Well, welcome to the Adventures of Middle Earth. They're all
It's-
dead.
I got
It's gonna be
a
really
message.
interesting once we do. What
Oh,
it starts
hang
in
on.
like November, right?
Dead?
November, October.
When we're gonna go every other week. Like I'm wondering, like how. Like, are we just gonna be stressed every week because we're like, oh, today's the
Ready,
week.
get ready
Today's the
for
week.
me.
Yes.
Get ready for at least one character death a month.
Oh my
Yeah. And no fewer than 2 mental breakdowns from the players.
so
Oh my
brutal.
God.
Yeah.
You
That
guys
game's-
you're gonna have all stick figure art at that point. Like, you know what?
Really,
He's dead.
Too much.
I really want to play that other one, though. That other one's really cool. So the other, which is called the Rider, is very kind of Rohan inspired. So you throw a lot of spears. It's all about spear throwing, which is really cool because that's the first barbarian where your rage and stuff fuels ranged
Ranged
attacks,
Barbarian. Yeah.
which I think is super interesting because, and you ride around on a damn horse or mount the entire time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I love it. I love it. So, any other interesting combinations you've seen, whether it's multi-class or play style or weapon use, or anything that's broken the mold? Anything you'd like to see? Would you like to see a barbarian bard or a, I don't know.
I would love to see a barbarian bard. Love
Wouldn't
that.
really work.
Yeah. Why not?
Well, I guess
Oh,
you could still do bardic
disagree.
inspiration. You know what?
It's like it'd be like a metal musician.
Well, hang on, because the bard that I'm playing right now for River Break is a college of eloquence. I just use my words. I don't play instruments, and I can cast spells, but most of my stuff is like being very persuasive.
Yeah.
But it's still charisma based, though. That's the only downfall. So you would have to pull back
Sword
on your
is-
decks to College of Swords.
Yeah, Logan and I have actually like talked about this a lot, and we talk about barbarian things like all the time.
our chat is just hey.
Hashtag barbarian
Barbarian.
thing.
It's like literally like BARB.
No.
Yeah, just constant. And actually, so College of Swords Bard with Totem Barbarian is like unstoppable because
How so?
the maneuvers. Logan understands it better than I do.
Oh shit! You're putting me on the spot. Fuck. Let me get
We
this.
got 7 minutes to talk about barbarians. Let's go.
So the one thing I'll
Barbarian.
say while I'm pulling this
Barbarians.
out, so I can explain. Shit, what was I gonna say? Damn it! I had something else. Oh, the one to answer Critical Dice's Jason's question. The one barbarian I really like to see. I really want to see Dwayne the Rock Johnson, Scorpion King, with that giant ass bow as a barbarian. That would be an amazing way to incorporate ranged barbarian into D&D 5th edition.
Why couldn't you do that now? Why couldn't you
What?
take a couple levels
Because
of ranger?
Bows are decks, and I wouldn't end up. I would because First of all, Rangers are fucking dumb. Second of all,
No,
you're right. You're right.
They're
You'd
not
better be better off
dumb.
doing like fighter and then picking
Yeah.
range as your fighting style or something.
yeah.
You're better off just leaving class blank on your character sheet than taking range.
If you're doing
So many ranger hate.
if you're doing Unearthed Arcana where you get the hunter's mark as a feature and not a spell, then 100% yes, 100% do.
Interesting.
6 evil 5th. Cody just said
Damn you,
6
chills.
ranger. Okay, where are we? College of Swords. So you get a fighting style. You either get dueling or 2-weapon fighting, which is really good if you want to go that sword and board, or if you want to just go the two-handed, like a two-handed fighter or a barbarian. But your flourishes, a couple of the cool things you do is you get these die that are kind of like superiority die for fighters.
Yeah.
But the one is one increases your AC, one allows you to do add extra damage to your attack, and the third one makes you more mobile. but really, that defensive flourish is where it's at because you can boost your AC if it's a 16. I think it's like whatever your inspiration die is.
Yeah.
So if it's 16, you can max out at 22.
Yeah.
Interesting.
As long as you have inspiration die.
Yeah. So then you can as long as you've got an inspiration die to spend for defensive flourish,
Yeah.
you can get right up in their face and reckless attack with impunity almost.
Yeah.
Because you take that defensive flourish and then you've got a 22 AC. Especially at low levels,
Yeah, that's
you're
pretty
golden.
amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I'm sold. I'm gonna try that
Plus-
next time. So we are
Bagpipes.
wrapping up. I'm gonna go around the horn a little bit. 1 second. Oh, that's a damn ESPN show. Damn it. So ESPN, we miss you. We're gone. Diane, can talk about where people can find you and when your next things are.
Yeah. At the Pretty DM, Instagram, sometimes Twitter, where you can find me here all the time. On Wednesdays, I'm the Fearbulk who, I don't know what to say about Kiwin yet, but you can also see me here on Saturday. I will be playing the Mythical Melee, being killed by GW, probably.
That's tough.
And you can see me in October, Ukador Con. I'll be running 2 Fabled Femmes games. Very exciting. And then on the 19th of October, my Legends of Shah Ogal. Chris, Shah Ogal.
You're going to be saying that the entire campaign.
Legends
not
of
in
Shah
it, so,
Ogal.
you know.
You can see me Mondays starting then. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Logan.
You guys can find me at DM_screening on Instagram. I don't think the last time I've done Twitter was like high school, maybe, so don't look me up on Twitter. You can find me on here where I play Haida on Adventures in Middle-earth. She's a Born-Egg Wanderer. You can also find me DMing Cantor Chronicles on the second and fourth Fridays of every month. And then I'll also be starting once a month. I'll be running Merkborg for Trials of the Damned on the initiative order, which I'm super excited about. Lots and lots of dark and spooky shit, and it's going to be amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Tristan.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I say Twitter, but not really. At +1 Crafting. I'm on this channel as often as they let me. And I build stuff if you need stuff for your games.
Yes.
Or if you just want to ask questions about building stuff. That's fine too.
So we're going to get ready to do a giveaway here in a second. So exclamation point raffle to enter this giveaway. I will call the winner right before Mythical Melee starts, like when we're in the introduction part of Mythical Melee. So you have to stay in the chat for the next 30 minutes. We're going to be talking about other stuff. Happy to answer more questions in there as well. Also, Logan, if you guys do come back in Season 2 of Origins of Ukador, I actually have a great bow item that is a strength-based bow. Just pointing it out there. Maybe we homebrew your Barbarian class. But thank you all for this.
I would defer that to Tristan.
No. I have a plan for like some boots that have fletching and like just shoot.
Okay. You want me to shoot you? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. I've got an idea.
I like that. I like that.
But yes, exclamation point raffle to enter in our Between Show giveaway. Thank you all for all your awesome questions. We hope that you enjoyed this episode of Quests and Answers, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thad, I love you.